How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do a contract called Second Garage Construction. So I'm on the North Peak National Park map, the second one, in Phase 10. And yeah, even though when you get here and you drive over like that yellow garage square, you unlock it, but the actual garage hasn't got garage slots or a truck store. As I look in here, you can sort of see in the top left, it basically the same thing. Second Garage Construction unlocks both of them. And overall, I don't really miss the garage slots, but it's nice to be able to go in the truck store. If nothing else, I can't be bothered looking through my list. I'll just buy another truck. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of cut along the bottom of the map, jump through that swamp a bit, because it's actually not that bad. Grab the bricks from there, up to there to grab the wooden planks, and then back here. And two of the things is vehicle spare parts you've got to deliver, but it just so happens there's a service hub there. So yeah, funnily enough, I said the other day there might be a mission that slipped through the cracks where you've basically got to drive a truck length to deliver something, and yeah, it ended up being this is the one, which doesn't really bother me because I don't know, it actually worked out quite nicely for me in the end. It would have been the same mission even if I had to just go and get 2 lots of bricks and 2 lots of wooden planks. And yeah, for this one I thought I'd take out Dolphin and Lo4f. It's a good old pair. I knew it's a little bit of a trek, and I know I kind of went around and have explored this map, but because it's quite stop and start just doing that, I've not really had like a proper go of flying around trying to do like keep a bit of a pace going and all the rest of it. So yeah, I wanted to get out the old Dolphin, and then just to the trailer store down the road. I ummed and ahed for a second there because I actually thought at the last minute, like, because those vehicle spare parts are basically at the garage, I may as well just do them at the end of the mission. Strictly speaking, I could do them now, but yeah, in theory, if I wanted, I could take a 2-slot trailer, and then yeah, I'll just move the Lo4f out and use the sideboard. But I'd already kind of pre-planned. I was just curious to see how the ramp flatbed's kind of doing on this map. Does it drag like a maniac? Overall, it didn't feel too bad. It probably feels like about kind of where I expected it to be, given this map feels a little bit slower and boggier and everything than the first map. Not to like an insane degree or anything. I suppose, yeah, it's a nice little contrast overall. Yeah, I've not really like disliked this map or anything. Even, to be honest, tonight was probably a bit of a good test to see, right, you know, how easy is it to fly across the map. And overall, say it went pretty well. There's a few times here, it might be, sorry, there's a couple of little glitches. I ended up putting the chain on for this, and there was a few times that a few patches of mud almost stopped me, and you can almost hear the revs thinking about dying down, but then it sort of finds the grip and keeps going. And yeah, that's where I find, for whatever reason, I think with chained, it's my suspicions is when you drive most tyres on this game, they, even though they obviously coded to look like they've got a tread pattern, they effectively, to me, behave like, say, a drag tyre, just complete slicks. Yeah, and that's it. You don't really feel like you've got big knobbly tyres that are digging in. The chain feel like they have actually coded the chains over the tyres, so it sort of, to me, I'm assuming, sort of feels a bit like you've actually got notches on your tyres that are kind of causing a reaction in real time in the game, not just like in theory, and then it's just made to look like it's got a big tread pattern and all the rest of it. But anyway, yeah, making pretty good time so far with the Dolphin. As I said before, even though it's got a 200 litre fuel tank, it makes pretty good time. It's just off fine overall, like one of the best vehicles in the game. If by the time the Dolphin's being kicked out of high gear, pretty much every other truck would be as well, and maybe like the advanced specials, kind of like a different category, they'd be going slower in their respective high range. But yeah, it's, well, you're able to get your foot down and make some pretty good time. If you're a bit pushed for time on a mission, this is a good one to go with. Pretty snappy. And yeah, got a goddamn horse on me. I mean, this is the original pair though, that's the with a Dolphin and its smaller fuel tank. Especially back, I can't even remember the name off the top of my head of the maps. On Alaska, like the third map over that you didn't really have a garage on mountain something, I think. And then yeah, the other map, I can see the thumbnail for it and everything. It's got the ANK on the thumbnail, but with a maintenance add-on which you're not actually able to get on the A&K. Yeah, I mean, you're a few maps over, so, or if you had a crash, you rolled, got to recover back to Northport and drive all the way back. Yeah, having a goddamn professional on the standby to flip me. And I've never looked back since. Just stick him in the sideboard and we're good. That's what she said. And as well, I remember with this mission, obviously you unlock the garage and the, well, like the garage slots and the truck store. It also says warehouse access, and I think there's like a bit of footage of it at the end of the video, but in the end I didn't see any warehouse that's actually at the garage. The only thing there's like over where I'm headed now to the bricks, just north of that really. I'm pretty certain it's that factory, and there's metal beams and a couple of other bits and bobs there. But yeah, I just assumed, because we're delivering it to the garage, when it said warehouse access, it would just, there'd be some kind of warehouse around there. But if you're wondering, I mean, I looked around, there's only, well, it says you unlock a warehouse, but the only thing listed on the entire map as a warehouse is the second location I'll be going to in this video to get the wooden planks. The place that I think it unlocked is listed as a factory. So I'm not 100% myself, but I'm about sort of 99%, because I can't, there's not loads of stuff even on this map, so it's not one of them where, you know, there's 8 different warehouses and you've got to try and remember. It's, yeah, there's not a crazy amount, and I'm pretty sure that factory that I've now got wasn't there before, because I think I would have looked and, yeah, checked it out a bit. It's funny as well with this map. Again, I'm like still liking this phase a lot. I think they've done a good job on this one. It kind of even, like, the maps are pretty big, bigger than you think really. Because even with a truck as quick as this, I'm ticking along. I feel like I'm doing a good pace, and yeah, it's still, you know, it's not like 2 minutes to get to the other side of the map. And I was thinking about it earlier, because it's like, say Albany River as an example, depending on the truck. I mean, the that Derry 15C was taking me, I think one time it was like 19 minutes just to get from the garage to the gateway, versus like I went with Dan, and I'm sure Dan's got like an advanced special, so it's not even a like a completely different set of gearboxes and all the rest of it, and that did it in something like 9 or 10 minutes, pretty much half the time. And yeah, the Dolphin probably would have been like 6-7 minutes or something, but I don't really like trying to think how to explain it. It sort of felt like Albany River was slowing you down in various parts, and it is what it is. I still enjoyed that overall as a map as well, other than like once the blue screen started really messing me up. Even in my normal playthrough, it screwed the live stream the entire way, and yeah, I've just not been back since. Like, so, well, accidentally once as I was loading it up from the previous week's live stream, and it loaded phase 9 and crashed in a minute. But yeah, there's just something about these maps where they actually still feel balanced, but then when you're driving along, it's still sort of happening to me where you just kind of assume, oh, I must be about there by now, and you look and you're only halfway or whatever, which, like I say, is not a bad thing. It's just sort of sneaks up on you how, considering it also simultaneously feels like it's a rougher map that's slowing you down a bit. I mean, in this case, like I said, I've got Dolphin, it's a solid vehicle. I could certainly go and bring some of the more average vehicles, and I bet it'd feel fairly different. But yeah, but just overall, I sort of think it's good. I mean, as long as they don't, yeah, sort of sneak in and like stealth patch a load of things. But other than that, I'm certainly pretty happy with things so far. As someone was saying, there is less objectives overall on this map. I don't think I've unlocked them all or anything yet, but yeah, there seems to be a fair amount on the first map though, certainly enough to where, yeah, it doesn't feel like we've, you know, I'm going to run out in a week and we're all going to be done, and it's a bit, yeah, kind of done and gone before it even really got started. For some reason, just the nature of this game hammered me with a load of damage right at the end on nothing. Like a little, God knows, a snail shell, probably. Even though I just smashed over trees and through swamps just fine, but it's like, oh no, not the snail shell. Yeah, a couple of bricks. Quick honk of the horn, and then going back, I'm going to cut back through the swamp. See, even like I cut over from that main road to there, but it was nice that that's doable without it adding 10 minutes to my journey. Yeah, the warehouse, that's the one, by the way, that is actually called a warehouse, to grab 2 planks, and then a bit of a different route back. That's basically why I swooped around like the bottom of the map on the way, just because then on the way back I can take the slightly shorter route. It's the one where you've got to cut round the mission that's called something along the lines of like, yeah, you have to cut round the marshes. So I figured like on the way, when I can just rally it with the ramped flatbed, I'll go like the slightly longer way. And then now, well, I've got to be honest, overall I didn't really, I don't know, make too many adjustments considering I've got a trailer of bricks on. I mean, I've not got a crane in this case, but as we have seen before, the Lo4f is a goddamn beast, so I could jump him off. I can definitely get the car, like million% get the cargo on the ramped flatbed, because worst case you just drop the ramps and push it on that way. But yeah, I mean, it's stubbornness, and it if it goes well, it can actually be pretty quick, but there's every chance it won't go well. Like, it's not a very linear science trying to get stuff back on trailers without cranes. I've done it just out of sheer stubbornness and principle, but at that point we might be going for the quit and reload method. Or, again, I mean, what I've noticed with this phase is the feeling to dick around a bit more is kind of, I did it a lot near the beginning, well, like the original maps and all the rest of it, and then just, yeah, some maps will kind of, they slow you down to a point where it's like, yeah, it's just about enough to do the missions. You sort of think, well, I won't add an extra hour or two of driving up that mountain for no particular reason and rolling down it and doing whatever. But yeah, just the overall like balance of these maps and all the rest of it kind of feels like I can. Sorry, it was my phone going off. If just made you look at your own phone. Yeah, it's nice to just think, oh, I'll venture off and mess around a little bit. You never know. Every now and then. Well, it's good anyway, even if nothing particularly useful comes out of the situation. Still do enjoy flinging myself off a few cliffs here and there. I mean, yeah, with this trailer, like I say, I didn't... Well, I mean, I'm sticking it in high and I'm flooring it. I wasn't going to start, like, tiptoeing in low range now I've got it. But it could have bit me. I mean, overall, I originally ran this setup because I've got the sideboard and the trailer, and obviously I had 6 lots of cargo to get, but because the vehicle spare parts are the way they are, I could have gone for something like a step deck. And to be honest, I possibly would have. I'd already kind of decided I was happy to take the Dolphin with a ramped flatbed and kind of... It's a pretty good benchmark, at least. I've driven the Dolphin a hell of a lot. And the ramped flatbed a hell of a lot. As much as it, well, it used to drive me mad, and it still does a bit, but I've got to say I am kind of pretty convinced they've patched it in the last, not, you know, this phase, but recently, phase 9 or phase 8, because it used to be insane how, like, you drive along now and it just starts skidding to the side and wanting to tip, so I reckon they've done something. But yeah, I possibly would have brought a step deck. I mean, it's got a little spot for the Lo4f, which is nice. And then yeah, this is what is listed on the map as the only warehouse I can find. Well, it's listed as the only warehouse. Yeah, 2 lots of wooden planks though, which is cool. I mean, they could have also made us... It wouldn't have really bothered me, because I would have just started this mission basically from Duncan Bay and kind of driven across, gone to the sawmill, and then to the gateway. But yeah, the fact that there is another place on here. See, even driving from that warehouse down to here, I knew I was going to the fuel station, and just the amount of distance, I slammed the handbrake on then, because I thought I was already passing the fuel station. Yeah, flying here though, get the Dolphin topped up. I can't remember if it was on the video or not. Once I got to where I picked the bricks up from, I just put the Lo4f roof rack in the Dolphin, and then I knew kind of on the way after getting the planks I was going to pass by this fuel station. Got the Lo4f top back up. I was staring for a minute at those fuel prices. I think, are they in gallons though? 357 or whatever. I assume it's going to be cheaper than over here. It's a goddamn rip-off over here. It's like, I don't know, one... Well, I mean, the price of our money is crashing. I don't know what it works out, if it's a good or bad deal anymore. Yeah, like 150, 160 a litre of fuel though. You know, while I remember as well, I was just thinking, one of the vehicles I nearly set up and equipped for tonight, I mean, well, I got close enough, I did, yeah, upgrade it and everything, was the Tatra Phoenix, but then it would only let me have a saddle high, which I don't really know why with that truck, because one, it'd make it a heck of a lot more usable if they just added a saddle low, but it's only got 48-inch tyres, and, I mean, the chassis looks decently high, but again, it's only 48-inch tyres. Yeah, but I always hear, like, you guys got the good info that you sort of thankfully come and let me know, but I'm sure I remember hearing something with, you know, like, it seems to be the same with the Mac Defence and the Kenworth they've added, that neither of them, I believe, are kind of allowed to be modded for consoles, but they're going to let it with PC. I don't really know if that's like a separate deal or as a... I suspect, and I kind of like overall, is PCs just seem like the Wild West of modding, where even companies are just like, they're going to do it, they'll find a way around it, they'll ignore us, etc, etc, it just isn't worth the hassle. Versus, obviously, there can be a lot more, they can police consoles a lot easier. But then I was also wondering if it's a, you know, like a money thing, as in, it generally is when it comes to, like, business, but, you know, if for some reason they'd have to pay even more to have the rights to let modders mod it for consoles as well, but because the game's 3-odd years old now, they might just be like, yeah, we'll get the rights to the vehicles or whatever, but we're not paying more just so they can be modded for console. It might be that kind of thing. It wouldn't amaze me if that's the kind of thing going on. But overall, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It would be nice, I admit, to have modded versions of them. The only bright side I can sort of see to it is they actually genuinely feel like pretty nice vehicles, particularly paired up with this phase, but I've done the gameplay and review of both of them. Yeah, they kind of do what they say on the tin. They're not the new best trucks in the game or something. I've still got, like, fell back on the comments again a bit, but I do read them because I don't have to touch my phone really, and the charger doesn't moan. Someone was saying, is like the Mac Defence a Taiga killer? I would say no. Put it this way, if the Mac was the original truck, or, you know, just, and they'd now released a Taiga, and then you asked, is the Taiga now the Mac Defence killer? I'd say yeah. But again, it's like, the Mac Defence is nice enough though. I don't necessarily need the new absolute objectively best truck in the game. I quite like, yeah, Dolphin for example. The best trucks in the game I've got access to feel pretty decent, especially like on these maps and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's nice to have something a bit different. Like I said, it's with the Kenworth. It could very, very easily be a truck I rarely ever use. I mean, even like the was it 512? I like that vehicle, and I rarely use that in the scheme of things. Yeah, the Kenworth, maybe long term, it's, you know, well, it's not like I'm going to be cracking it out every 5 minutes, but yeah, for whatever reason, like I say, it does what it says on the tin. It's a big, fat, slow lumbering vehicle with a nice sounding engine, and yeah, that's kind of what I expected, and that's what I got. And yeah, like I said, the engine sounds nice, the tyres look cool. I like the add-ons. I like the fact that it's got the 3 slot, but you can still have a trailer, so that's legitimately viable as like an option. Whereas, like I said in previous Bruce, for example, I'm sure it's like you put the 3 slot on and it won't let you attach the trailer. And I'm pretty sure in theory there's room. But yeah, it's nice to have that. So yeah. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. This is very, very unlike me. But yeah, it just reminded me of the Tatra Phoenix. Like, I'm sure somebody said that they, like, you know, the agreement was that they can't put a saddle low on it or something. And it's just weird when you hear these little, yeah, kind of extras that they add on top of a basic sort of deal. And as I've said, overall, I mean, if the owner of Tatra's listening, you're not doing yourself any favours by making the deal where we can't have saddle lows, because it's just objectively limits your truck to less game use. And that is another thing, to be honest, with the Mac and that they've added. At least both of the trucks, really, they've got loads of, you know, just about every add-on you can add on. So that's always nice, because at least then it's, and again, for making videos, I kind of consciously try to cycle the trucks a little bit if I can, just for the sake of variety for you guys and just me driving as well. And it suddenly dawns on you on various missions how few trucks are actually, you know, you get a mission that, I don't know, it could be something as simple as, yeah, you need a saddle low, or you need a sideboard and ramped flatbed and all that. You suddenly get limited way down, you know, like all the collobs are suddenly out, loads of stuff, and you end up coming back to the same Dolphin, Tagers, Vorons, yeah, and all that sort of stuff. So like I say, the fact that that Mac Defense, for example, is just now another option that, generally speaking, is at least going to be, you could build it to a way that will complete just about every mission, is nice. And then, yeah, as you can see, drive to here, which is basically where I started the video. Drop the 4 lots of cargo off, reversed up, just grab 2 vehicle spare. Just make sure you get vehicle spare parts, not service spare parts, because you could easily just autopilot mash the button. I'm astonished, to be honest, that I didn't. Yeah, get a little animation, get that built. Money-wise, not bad, to be fair, but yeah, it's the rewards. Hit the show rewards button, and it'll. It's just the garage slots. It's the access to the truck store, I suppose, is just probably the main one for me. Although somebody did say the garage slots are handy for in hard mode, which, yeah, I've not been on that, so never really had that issue. I lost a truck once in the garage slots, and it just, yeah, I never even realised that every time I loaded the map up, it'd just load the second garage slot. So yeah, I looked over the map. That's the only one listed as a warehouse, which is where I got the planks, so it can't have unlocked that. That is where I think it's unlocked, which is listed as a factory. That's where I got the bricks from. It's just north of it. And there's what? Metal beams, concrete slab, metal rolls, and concrete blocks. So yeah, that's the another one in the bag though. At least the garage is now fully unlocked. Yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.